Coach Tony here, and today I'm going to be answering the question, which protein is best taken post-workout to maximize your gain? Is the answer going to be whey protein, plant-based, beef, or essential amino acids? Now, first things first, in order to definitively say which is the king for post-workout recovery to maximize your gains, we got to take a look at how well is the muscle protein synthesis, which means is there adequate amounts of certain amino acids included in there? How well does it digest? How quickly does it digest? So these are going to all factor into how well the muscle protein synthesis actually gets kickstarted and goes. And now we got to also take a look at, when you're factoring those in, any dietary concerns. Does someone have an intolerance to a certain ingredient or protein out there on the market, or a sugar? And then the last thing I'm really going to be taking a look at is the cost. Why does that matter? Because if something's too expensive, well, you're not going to buy it, odds are. But if something is also too cheap, a lot of times, it's just garbage, let's be honest. A very cheap protein, don't get it. It's trash, plain and simple. So what I'll end up doing is I'm going to go through each of the types of protein, all 4 of them, and then in the end is when I will go over which one reigns supreme. Which one is first thing that I'm going to take a look at is essential amino acid. And the great thing about these is they only have 9 essential amino acids. So you're not getting a full protein in there, which I'll dive into a little bit more later on as to why this is also important. In terms of digestion, they digest extremely well, very rapidly. They're taken up very quickly in your intestinal tract because there's nothing to really break down. They're already basically pre-digested. All they have to be done now is absorbing them. There's no breaking down to be done. It's just in, down, quick to take up. One of the nice things about essential amino acid products, high quality ones, is they're going to have lots of leucine in there, which is the real kickstarter to muscle protein synthesis. You need about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine in order to really kickstart muscle protein synthesis post-workout. That's what's really going to kick you into overdrive for recovery. Now, in terms of cost, these are the most expensive per serving, basically, because it's very refined down to just the 9 essential amino acids, which means there's a lot more processing that's involved. Now, yes, the curse word out there, a processed food. All supplements are an ultra-processed food. You're getting it in a powder form. It doesn't get any more processed than that. You mix with water, shake, drink it. So let's dispel that how every processed food is a negative thing right there. Sometimes it's a good thing. It allows you to get certain nutrients really quick and easy and highly digestible. All right, next up is whey protein. The big daddy of them, the one that you see everywhere. That's the one that is most common on the market. It's basically saturated the market everywhere. You can get it everywhere now. The grocery store, supermarket, Walmart, Target, you can even get it at some corner stores. That is how widespread and how abundantly available it now is. Now, one of the great things about whey protein is that it is a complete protein, and it also has a high amount of leucine per serving. So say a serving is 25 grams, about 10% of that is just the single amino acid of leucine, the same one that you need to really kickstart your recovery. For a lot of people, whey protein is also very digestible. It's easy for them to take in and break down. But one concern that comes for those who have a lactose intolerance or a whey allergy, they just can't stomach it. It gives them some bathroom issues, to say the least, as well as some intestinal discomfort. So you got to be on the lookout for that. One way you can get around that issue is take a look at the ingredient list. A lot of times people aren't necessarily having an issue with the protein itself, it's the other ingredients that are in a lower quality product, where they're using stuff like sucralose or aspartame to sweeten it, or they're adding in other fillers to bulk up the serving, and it's just costing you more for that stuff as opposed to a high quality product. A lot of times a high quality product, a lot of people, in my experience with some clients even, they can use some companies' whey products without any issues, and then they get something from Costco, and next thing you know, their guts are being rearranged by themselves. And the other great thing about whey protein is, as I already mentioned with the leucine, it also has the other 2 branched chain amino acids in high quantities. That's valine and isoleucine. How is whey protein made? It's basically from the process of making cheese. That liquid runoff that comes from making cheese, that then gets dried out, and that is whey. It's literally just that simple. So all these factories out there that are making cheese from milk products, well, from milk, all that whey that's coming off from it can be dried out and sold as whey protein. So it's very, very accessible, especially in any country that has a large dairy industry, whether that's Canada, US, New Zealand, 3 countries very well known for dairy products. And what this then helps to do is it makes it so that because it's so widely accessible, you can usually find it at a good price per serving. You shouldn't be paying more than like $1 or $1.25 per serving for whey protein. All right, so now let's dive into plant-based proteins. Now, these are becoming a little more popular on the market as there's been a rise in vegetarianism and veganism in society. The big things you got to take a look at is you really have to look at the label with a plant-based protein. The reason for this is plant sources of protein do not have the full complement of essential amino acids, and they are usually very low in leucine. You are not going to get the adequate amount of leucine from a plant-based source of protein. And if you're just taking rice protein or you're just taking a pea protein, you are going to be missing one or more of those essential amino acids because plant-based sources are not a complete protein. So to get the best out of it, you need a blended form of a plant-based protein. So it's got to be pea plus rice plus soy, for example, in order for you to get that full complement of amino acids. And the other thing you got to be conscious of is if you've got any issues with soy in terms of genetics being at a higher predisposed risk of certain cancers, you have to make sure you're avoiding the soy because that can lead to some issues. Technology has gotten better where it's taken some of those xenoestrogens out, but you still have to be a little conscious of that. It's one reason why women who are breast cancer patients and survivors are told a lot of times to avoid soy. In terms of price, plant-based protein is actually quite expensive. It's more expensive than whey. It's almost as expensive as beef and essential amino acids, depending on the blend and whether or not the raw ingredients have been an organic source or not. That's all going to help drive up the price. One of the other issues with the plant proteins is they're not always the most digestible. It takes a little bit more to break them down, and then from there it's slower absorbing. And let's be honest, a lot of them, plant-based sources, they taste like dirt or cardboard. You might as well, if you want something that tastes a little better, lick the cardboard box it came in. Oh, for the last one, the bougie one, the Versace of proteins, for lack of a better way of putting it. So how do you get beef protein into a powder? Well, that's done by hydrosylating the beef collagen so that you're breaking that down into its simplest form. You're ultra processing it so that you can then dry it out as well, break it right down into a powder so that you can then actually sell, and it has nutritional value. One of the great things about a beef protein is it is a complete protein source. It has adequate amounts of leucine, but that comes with a big, big price tag. Usually beef protein is 2 up to 5 times the price of whey protein, for example, per serving. So that's already going to knock a whole bunch of people out of being able to get it because it's just not in their price range. So that's something we got to keep in mind. If it's something somebody can't get, it's not going to be the best. It just isn't. But there's a little bit more to the story with beef protein. It's going to be slower digesting. So it's going to take longer for it to get broken down and absorbed. Post-workout, you kind of want things to be a little bit quicker so that you're getting those amino acids into quickly. Well, if it's taking a little longer, it's not going to be necessarily the best for muscle protein synthesis immediately post-workout. But, and this is a big but, it does give you a sustained amino acid absorption. So it's going to be absorbed over a longer time. In terms of muscle protein synthesis post-workout, this is not necessarily the best thing for you. Keep in mind is when I was mentioning before about this digestive issues for people with on whey protein, beef protein is an excellent substitute because you're not going to get those same digestive issues. It's very rare that somebody can't digest beef protein, extremely rare in humanity, whereas lactose and whey can cause some issues. So that's a big bonus for the beef protein. So who's going to reign supreme in the rankings that we're now onto? In a third place tie, we have plant-based protein and essential amino acids. How are they tied, you might be asking? Well, that comes down to the cost. While essential amino acids are extremely expensive per serving, plant-based ones are also fairly expensive. What's causing the real tie here is essential amino acids only give you the essential amino acids. They're missing the other amino acids. While plant-based, as long as it is a blend, and that's the big as long as, it must be a blend to be in third place here, you're going to be getting all of the amino acids. You're going to be getting all the essential ones. It will then be a complete protein, but it's slow absorbing, while essential amino acids are the fastest absorbing. They're in you instantly. So that's what causes these two to be in a dead heat for third place. In second place, we have beef protein. Why does it come in second? It's expensive, it's bougie, it's the freaking Versace of protein. Well, it's not the fastest absorbing, it's the most expensive basically. It gives you a complete protein, it gives you sustained release of protein and amino acids. There's no digestion issues in terms of gut issues. So how come it's in second place? That's because of our winner. Whey protein has the best amino acid profile for muscle protein synthesis post-workout. It's got the most leucine per serving. It's fast absorbing. It's not the fastest, but it is fast absorbing. Now, if you get a whey protein isolate, it's going to be a little bit fast absorbing, but that's really not needed. That's been overhyped marketing-wise to take more of your money. You don't need that. For a lot of people, they're going to have no problem digesting it. It's going to go in and they're going to be fine. For the vast majority of people. People who are also vegetarians can have it. Vegans, sorry, you can't. You're no fun in life. You're stuck just with the cardboard plant-based. And one of the other biggest reasons why whey protein is the king, the availability and value per serving. You're looking at $1 per serving. You can't even get a chicken breast for that, and you're going to get the same amount of protein. So that is where whey protein takes the crown. It is the winner as to being the best for muscle protein synthesis, which means it's going to be the best for recovery. It's going to give you a full amino acid profile. It's going to digest fairly well and at a good speed. It's going to taste all right. And it's available to the masses. That is how you determine who the winner is whey protein king? Yes, it is king. Now, if you can't take whey protein, beef is the queen. You can have beef. So that is how we break down as to which protein is the best for you post-workout. The winner of that, bar none, is whey protein. So at this point, you're probably sitting there wondering, so which product should I get? There's so many on the market. Just look right here. You've got multiple options out there. Flashy labels, non-flashy labels, high price points, low price points. I'm going to simplify it and give you my personal recommendation and what I use in my business and provide to my clients in their post-workout shakes and what I personally use. And that is ATP Labs grass-fed whey. If you would personally like to get 10% off an order from ATP Labs in Canada and the US, go to the link in the description below, which will take you to atplabs.com, and use code RISLING10, that's RISLING10 at checkout. Now, if this video provided you any value in terms of which protein is going to be better for you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you've got any other questions or your own personal experiences, leave a comment below.